So, let's try this again, shall we? Hey y'all, welcome back to another day, another stream. I hope you guys are doing well on this Friday night so far. From where I'm at, honestly, because y'all, we're all from different time zones here, so we're all different. But anywho, enough of that. I hope you guys are doing well though, overall. If anybody on here is a new subscriber, welcome. And if anyone's a returning subscriber who's been on here before, welcome back. You know, it's good to have our returning people who've come before, and then also new people as well. Because the more people we get, the better. So feel free to like and subscribe, and also hit that button down below so you are not. Also hit the notification bell. Excuse me. Down below so you're not gonna miss any future updates that come out on here. So if y'all want to be the first people that know when something comes out, y'all are the only people in here who know it comes out. No one else outside of that knows, unless if they subscribe to the channel, but that's it. So nobody else outside of like multiple channels. So it's only for subscribers who subscribe to here. But yeah, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit, y'all. So yeah. Anyway, but also though, y'all, a few things I'm gonna tell you guys too while I'm waiting for people to come in is we do have rules on the stream, you guys, and just to say a couple of those is first of all, I don't allow flirting, honestly, on here, because I've gotten men before who've come in the chat and do it, and y'all, I'm taken. Like, I'm happily taken, so do not even attempt to get in the chat and go flirty mode towards me. Alright? Next one. Also, be sure you're being respectful to anybody. A mod, myself, or just anyone else that's not a mod. Okay? Also, another thing as well, while we're talking a little bit of the rules here, is to be sure you're not cussing in the chat or repeating certain phrases constantly, because you will get blocked by an administrator of YouTube if you repeat a certain phrase in the chat more than once. Like, let's say if you're trying to get my attention and you're repeating it and I can't see the chat, just be careful how you're saying it. So if I were you, reward it a bit to where it won't sound like it. But if you're just purposely doing it just to be crazy, be careful what you're doing, because let's say if you're one of my really good people who have been on here since day one, or have been here since, like, who knows, not that long ago, I just don't want that to happen to any of y'all, especially if you're one of my really good people that join a lot. So anyway, yeah, but that's just what we do here, though, y'all. And also, let's also have fun for a little bit, because y'all, a bunch of us here are adults. Some of us are like in our late teens, going into our adult phase, and y'all, we all have lives here. We have a ton of things that just happen. Like, y'all, a few of us here have jobs, a few of us go to school, and some of us are trying to get there, like myself. But I am doing counseling, though, for mine. So, yeah, it's a lot more helpful that way. But, yeah, so for anyone who's trying to get in here, don't try to start it with acting all stupid. And also, I say this, I have mods who come on here, so if anyone tries to not follow any of the rules or just doesn't act our standards at all, you know what's gonna happen. You will literally know what's gonna happen. I'm not saying it's happening right now. I'm just saying it early, so if we do have somebody who decides to act up, we're saying it early enough, you know? It's important that way. But the exit is this way, so if somebody does come in here and act a fool, just be careful what you do. Anyway, let me look at the chat, because the chat is already starting. Anyway, Holler, how are you doing? How's it been? So I'm just talking, so it's like, you know. Exactly. Let me pin this real quick so everyone sees it when they first join. Alright. Oh, what the? Hang on. In here. Cool, I see you. Hang on. I'm doing good. What about you, Holler? Hopefully you're doing good. Oh, yeah. Yep. But yeah, basically though, y'all, like I said, if we do tend to get people who are gonna be a fool, just so you know. And y'all, let me say this: we actually have been doing really well about not seeing that many people just acting like a fool. So thank you to the majority of you guys, because that is really helpful. And because y'all, I still remember there was a time for a little bit where haters were actively crazy, but now it's slowing down for once. So that's a lot better on me and for the rest of my mods and for just our people who come in here frequently, you know? Because, you know, some people might just say stuff that maybe y'all are similar with, or you went through maybe a situation along the lines of what they're telling the chat. You know, I don't want y'all getting scared off or spooked off with, because people like that try to find ways to get those people out when they don't do anything that's harm to anybody. But yeah. So oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, actually, I had to do a reset because rarely nobody wasn't on when it was like, when it hit the 11-minute mark on here. And so I'm like, you know, let's just do a reset just to make, because, you know, it happens sometimes. But thankfully I did. So thank goodness it's actually showing that people are at least slowly making their way in here. So, yeah, you know, that's really the only times I would do resets, is if people aren't really coming in right away, or if I feel like the chat seems to be off. But yeah, really a lot of times it's actually gotten better about that for those on here. But yeah, so yeah, they will yeah. And Holler, that's why I've got mods in here. That's why I've got like a lot of you in here. So this way, if we have somebody in here that is just gonna act up, or they come in here just normal, but then they're gonna be a fool directly, and it's gonna be a lot more like 0.2 seconds out of here, you know, than having to really just fight with them back. Not what I want to be put up with. And y'all, first of all, I don't want to be the one person who puts up with a lot of you guys. And I mean, y'all, mods are very helpful because A, they can get them out quicker. B, I'm not having to do a lot at once, you know, because y'all, especially for adults, we don't want to do, like, here's an example. Let's say we're working just our average jobs, and we're having to be the only ones doing a lot of the responsibilities, right? We don't want to be the people doing that. So by having more of you guys in here, it helps out. So this way, A, it doesn't gonna stress me out. B, it definitely is manageable. You know, it's just helpful that way. Because, you know. Yep. Exactly. And also, y'all, on this channel for my mods, the way that I have them put in here is almost as if they have a job in here, which they do. Because, y'all, my only job should only be talking with you guys and answering questions. And not having to put up with anyone stupid. You know, that's not what we would want to... That's not what I would want to put up in here. Really, any day of the year. Like, y'all, I'm 20 at this point. I'd rather not... Like, me as an adult, I'd rather not be putting up with an adult face-to-face. You know? But I'm thankful, though, for the majority of y'all on here who aren't those people. So thank you again for not making it difficult on here. Because, you know, I don't need that to be a case. You know? So, hang on. I just need to fix my whiteboard real quick. Oh my god. Sorry to take this far from my whiteboard. So, there we go. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm just doing something on my whiteboard real quick. So give me just a minute. There we go. Sorry, I was rewriting something on here that... Well, I'd erase something else off, but I'd erase half of the other thing off, so I had to put it in here. So we're good. Alright, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Very appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, right now though, y'all, we're just relaxing for a little bit. So feel free to ask whatever. Just like I say, with questions, don't go the opposite route of it. You can ask whatever. Like, there's no specific. The only thing I say about that, though, y'all, is don't go inappropriate on me. Don't go, okay, so what? Like, don't ask me anything that's inappropriate or even stuff that I don't like to reveal, you know? Because our safety is first, y'all. Like, y'all, besides putting God first, our safety's first as well in here. So, whatever we feel comfortable with answering, we'll answer it. If we're not, we don't have to. There's, like, y'all, we can be okay, sure, we want to share, but if there's people asking something that we don't want to say to, like, a lot of you guys, we don't have to, because, y'all, as adults, and also, a few of y'all teens that I've got in here that are a little older, it's okay to not always have everything getting told on here. Like, you can have boundaries, you know? Like, for example, with me, like, if there's something with me that I know I don't want to share a whole lot towards y'all, I don't have to. And even Holly doesn't have to. None of us don't have to be in that case where, you know, we don't want to just get to the point. Oh my god. But anyway, hang on. Okay, so I was checking something, but yeah. So let me put you guys. Hey, I'm gonna put you guys right here real quick while I do something real fast. So for those in here, just be good for a minute. But yeah, so I'll be right back. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Do I like how it's laid out? Okay. Alright. Hey y'all, sorry about that. I was just putting a little towel I've got against my door up so it's easier. Because let's see. Not that long ago, I actually have started doing that. Just so that way with my parents and my brother, it helps a little bit with all of the sound reduction, but also it just helps out too. You know. And actually, I will say this, ever since I started actually doing that, I actually have noticed that occasionally when the hallway in our hallway light in our house is on, like ever in the middle of the night or something when I'm up, or even around this hour, it doesn't drive me insane. Because y'all, I have just my normal lamp on like this from like the hours of like 7:45 to 8 o'clock, well like 8 o'clock ish, till about like 10 p.m. So I have it on for a few hours. And then when it's like 10 o'clock, I turn this lamp on. So then this way, it gives my big lamp a break from literally being on for the majority of the day. But also, because y'all, the main lamp right here, that's on mainly a lot. So it's good, especially when you've got like two lamps in the same room. It's really good to have one turned off and then one's on. So you still have a little bit of light going on, but also if you want the room like dim but you don't want it like super dark, like if you want like a little bit of dark mixed in with like a lamp that doesn't do too chaotic, like the brightness isn't like crazy, then it's very helpful. And actually, a fun fact, this lamp is what y'all saw in the beginning when I started streaming. So that's why a few people were coming at me going, why is the room darker in here? That's because that one was on, even though it did cover a good amount, it didn't really do a whole that well. Unlike this one does. Because this one, it does the same work too, but it actually is better sturdy. Like it's a lot sturdier. With a bunch of that. But, yeah. So, let me look at the chat. Thanks, Clara. Let me tell you this. There's a lot of people of mine that say that too about me. Like, for example, some of my mom's friends will point that out about me, or just people I meet and they meet my mom out of nowhere. And a lot of times they will say that a lot. I'm thinking, because they literally will go, you look just like your mom. When, y'all, to me, I feel like I look like both my parents, because my dad's got blue eyes, my mom has green eyes I know of. But I actually have darkened my hair a bunch now. So it's like, oh my goodness, Jackie, how are you doing? It's been a minute. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, the only part of me that looks like my dad is my eye color, which is blue. But, for example, look like otherwise, it's my mother. But also, I've darkened my hair a lot different, so putting me in the different. Actually, let me say this, y'all. Here's what's funny. For some of you that have not, some of you see me with my darker hair phase now, but for those of you that have not followed me, like, years ago, because, I did content kind of back then, but I didn't really do it a lot. I really started having, like, I kind of went into my dark hair phase, kind of when I was, like, when I was basically in 8th grade, like, it was late 8th grade, you're going into my freshman year of high school. And, y'all, whoever thought I actually liked darker. Like, who seriously ever thought that for some reason I actually look better as a brunette than I did? I kind of call myself a light blonde, y'all, because honestly, it's more of like a light brown tint than a dirty blonde. But, yeah, actually, here's a, hang on, let me sit up here. I actually do have a pic up here, of around that phase. So, hang on. So here's a pic of me, y'all. I was a sophomore, and look, my hair was a dark brown at that time. Well, basically it was like a light, like, basically like an auburn dark brown is what it was. But when I was a freshman, going into my eighth grade going into freshman year, I was like an actual dark brown. And then also, I'll show you a little bit up here. So I went from nearby. So for example, in that one, it's only a smidge darker as well. Like, it's similar, but more auburn. Sorry, my camera keeps moving. And also, yes, you guys, that's my boyfriend in the corner as well. Yep, crazy. I still can't get over it. But, yeah, and also for those of you that haven't followed me since a lot of that, we both went to the same high school for all 4 years, but we didn't actually, like, physically meet each other till we were both sophomores. But we were actually friends around that time. And y'all, I told a few of you guys, but I never suspected he was next in line. Like, I did not think that off the bat. And the funny part though, y'all, is he's also ADHD. And even my ex is ADHD. Crazy. So, what I thought, the past two guys I've dated both had ADHD. But then the funnier part is my mom's ADHD, but her level ADHD is not their level. Like, I mean, she doesn't really act so much ADHD. Like, hers is more chill. And I mean, y'all, my boyfriend's ADHD is chill too, but he has kind of more of like the forgetting, just like little forgetting things side to it, plus a little bit of memory issues. Like, I mean, even I'm not ADHD, but I do have a little bit of forgetting issues as well, but that's because after my brain surgery and trying to learn things after that, it was just, ever since then, the way my brain processed things and how to do stuff, it was a lot trickier on me. And so, and even like, for example, like if y'all were to ask something to me that either I didn't get, or if I heard a question that I'm kind of getting what you're saying, but I'm like, can somebody repeat that in a easier description? You know, it's just the way, it's kind of like a delay kind of process where I'm trying to get it, but, you know, which a lot of us have that though. But yeah. Yeah, so for example, I have a little bit of that due to my brain surgery when I was almost 2. For those of you that I told you about that a little bit. And even AJ's got it too. But y'all, and also some of you I've told that, because y'all, my boyfriend's childhood was a little crazy. Like, we both went through chaotic experiences, but with different things. His was more family related, mine was more medical. So mine was more of my epilepsy diagnosis stuff and just trying to get somewhere. And just the what if to unknown kind of reality of it. His was more of family trauma and just dumb. Because, yeah, it's crazy back in the day. But, and then even Um, there were a few times that he was in the system a little bit, and so finally at one point, at one, hang on, give me a second. Sorry, I thought it was her son, but like I was just saying, but yeah, because oh my gosh, this chair. Sorry, this chair can be a little cray-cray sometimes. But yeah, basically with his background, it's just like, you know, like he went through just a little bit of of trauma because both of his parents, let's say, I think the dad did not so good things back in the day and I think, went to jail for it. And then I know for a fact his birth mom, she moved like crazy. Like she left a lot. Like a lot of them behind a lot. So he had to get put into foster care a couple times and then luckily his I think it was like one of their I think it was his aunt's friend, one of his aunt's family friends came and helped them and put them in place since then. And then, well, she was really nice. Like, actually, she was the first person I met when me and AJ first became official. Like, because for example, when we had to get him for homecoming, we went over to his to pick him up on our way since my mom picked him up and dropped him off. Well, actually, my dad, I think, dropped us off, I think. But went in for picking him up, though. And then dropping us two off. But yeah, so I got to meet her and plus his actual aunt. And she's really nice. And I mean, his family was also nice, too. But yeah, so now it's just his aunt comes by every day to like about once or twice a day to make sure that they're doing good. And also to help out their grandma because their grandma can't really physically get around that well. And so occasionally she's going to need help with like getting her meds taken care of, making sure she's getting to the bathroom okay. Because, I mean, she does use a walker to get around and also make sure she's being fed like she's supposed to. So, yeah, so there's a little bit, too, where she does get involved with that as well. Wait, let me look at this chat here. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. But, yeah, so give me just a moment, y'all. Hang on. Right here. I'll use... Oh, really? So I'm just looking through the chat. So you came in. Okay. Sorry, I was checking to see where we are in terms of chat. But, yeah. So, it's pretty crazy. A lot. But yeah. So, right now we're just hanging out for a little bit. I'm not going to be on here that long because I need to check something. But yeah. So, hang on. But, and also if anyone is curious of how he is doing, he's been doing pretty well though in general. We talked on the phone today, which went really well. So we talked from like 5:30 till like 5:39. So for about 9 minutes today, which wasn't bad at all. Like it was like that's still pretty good. The majority of the time we're talking till either like 5:50 something or close to 6. It just depends. Or sometimes 5:40 something. But really, it just depends if his aunt is calling him to check on him or to ask him to see if he's done anything that he might need to do, stuff like that. So, yeah, but if he doesn't, then he and I talk till probably like 6, almost. Like, there's been a couple times that we've talked till probably like 6. But also there's times too that we talk around like 9. But that's if it's like a delay situation. Where like let's say if he has to do something, but it's something where he actually will be able to get it done a lot faster than he would. Or let's say if it was just maybe a thing that is quick and simple, that won't take forever, and then he can still contact me, because it's just what you gotta do. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, we're just chilling on you guys. So hang on, let me check something real quick. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I was fixing something real fast, but we're back. Oh, anyway, but yeah, it's just one of those things you gotta do. He's like so crazy. Golly, y'all, pretty wild. But anyway, we're just hanging out for a minute though, y'all. So, yeah. But I mean, y'all, AJ's just been amazing since day one. And I mean, y'all, I'm just thankful to God that he has just been nothing but amazing. And someone who's actually been good to me. And not just what my ex used to be. Because, I mean, like I told you guys, he was good for a little bit, but then showed his actual true self at that point, and I was glad he and I ended things like around like the 9-month mark, because at that point, kind of a little after, I mean, it was fine. I couldn't really stand it a whole lot. But also, y'all, to tell you a little bit about that though, y'all, he was the person where he did not really meet my parents like AJ did. But also, y'all, he and I did. He and I would kinda would hang out for a little bit after school, but it would be around like it would be kind of inside. It would like we would still be at school though, because he was in the tech theater. Because he was in tech theater at the time. I was there my junior year, but I was in color guard that year. So I mainly would have to stay after school, the majority Monday to Friday. Unless if we had like a Thursday game on Thursday. But, yeah, but mainly 99% of the time we would be staying till like, I would like each day, Monday to Friday that year, it was different. So the first day I would be there from like 5:30 to 8. From 5:30 to 8. Second day I'll be there till like 4:30 to 6. I think 4:30 to 6. Sorry. Yeah, I would be there from like 4:30 to 6. Wednesday was optional. Like Wednesday wasn't really required a whole lot. So, and really that day was what really that day was more of like, y'all, let me just say this. Wednesday's not wasn't like a requirement day. So we had what we on Wednesdays we would have what was called sectionals. And so that's where if you wanted to work on stuff, like if you were having issues with just some of the things that you've learned, or if you just want to improve a little more of like your work and stuff like that, you totally could. So for example, I would always go on Wednesdays. So usually Wednesdays, like Wednesday won't be, it wouldn't be like everybody, it would be maybe a few people. Like it would probably be less of the team than it would be. But then Thursday is practice like normal from 4:30 to 6. And then if it was a Friday game, what that would look like is we would probably would be gone from like 5, I want to say 5 or so, like 5, 6-ish, till like maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. But at least one of those two. But but sometimes, y'all, there were occasions that we wouldn't get back till like occasionally midnight. Like at least midnight. Oof, chaotically. But at least midnight or 11. It really just depended of how far we were that day. So like if we had a game that was in district, meaning at home, really all it wasn't that far. But if it was out district, so if it wasn't in district, so like not so a non-home game, that probably would be, it also would just depend who we are up against, and also that even depends how far that stadium is from where we were. So certain games, if they were away games, we would probably get back maybe that same time if we were kind of close. But if we were a little far out, it might be close to midnight that we get back. At least close to midnight. Y'all, those days were brutal, but it was fun. Like it was a pretty fun time for me because because from the moment they came to my middle school, my 7th grade year, it was, I did not think that I would actually somehow like it until I saw them. I'm like, oh, they are so cool. And then when the teacher who I had was like, if anyone wants to come down and learn a skill or two from anyone, feel free to. So I went down and asked about a couple skills I saw and kind of how it worked. And so they got to show me how to do a skill, but also how to position. Because the thing is, y'all, we use flags, we use rifles, and saviors. So for example, we were on flag a lot learning it. So for example, like if I saw like a really cool trick on like flag, for example, I'm like, so hey, how do you do this certain trick that's like this to land it? And then they would show me. It was so cool though. Like, and then what was cool too was a few of us got to get these like flyers that they had for like a clinic. So it was really cool because half of the middle school half of the middle schoolers got to um like the ones that were interested we would go to this clinic on I think Mondays. I think. I think it was Monday. So what I would do is like right before I would leave, I would get the clothes I would wear that day and I would just like basically I would grab those and then I would go into the bathroom that we had in our classroom. Um, because y'all, I was in the store department for a lot of my school years. And then I would change in there into all that, and then also make sure my hair is up. And then after that, we would be on the road, and we would head to clinics, which were really fun because the first week we kind of what we did was week 1. We got to oh dang, I almost fell. But week 1 we got to oh my god, sorry, it's being very difficult. But yeah, week 1 we just got to get to know the team and just everybody that was there, and we just kind of go over kind of what it's all about. And then week 2, like probably week 2 to week 3, we would learn. Like we would start to learn like just dance stuff automatically. And then kind of a little bit after that we would actually learn how to actually do like tricks on the flag. So we would actually learn how to do things on flag for performances, which was so cool. And what was neat was we actually got to learn, like we got to learn a routine for another high school, because at their basketball game, I guess she wanted us to. I think it was cool because we got to perform at the halftime game for basketball, which I think was cool. So we got to all come out at halftime and do a performance. So me and all the middle schoolers, so some of us were from like my middle school and some were from like out middle schools that were not my middle school. Like it would be the same district, but like it would be the same district area, but not like just outside of it. So it would be like different schools within that district that revolve around it. It was pretty cool though. So once basically we got to do a lot of that, we slowly began to do a lot of like working on stuff. And then when it was show day, it was really cool, y'all, because what that looked like was we just wore all black, but we actually got to add like a little bit of color in between. So either we can put like maybe a certain color hair tie in, or we got to put in like maybe a color in between the black, anything like that. So I think what I did was I put a purple bow in my hair, and then I think I dyed my hair a little bit. Like I think I did a streak of color in my hair to kind of give it off a little bit. It was pretty cool though. But y'all, when I was doing a lot of it. It was so much fun. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this when I get to high school. So freshman year auditioned, didn't really make it. So I did not give up a second. So I'm like, you know what? For Christmas, I'm gonna try to get all the supplies and work my butt off until next season, which would be like April timeline. So when April came around and it was audition, like it was clinics that week too. What's funny was they didn't do auditions at that time because of COVID. So my sophomore year, I was able to actually make the team, and so um, since then, the full month of April, we would have clinics. So that's basically where we would like learn. It's kind of like what I did just in middle school, where we learned skills and stuff like that. But we also get kind of the experience with the flags and how to work them, and also just the main structure of things about it, like how do you tape the flag, because the silk you have to tape the end of it so it stays on, but also you have two other tape spots, so but that's where like hand placements go, so that way when you do a skill you know where to put your hand on the pole, so you don't put it in a weird spot and just make it shoot at somebody, stuff like that. But it's yeah, so we got to learn the basics of that and learn skills by using a ton of that. I think it was cool though. So, so kind of the fundamental about that though, y'all, is on the pole. It's just so it. Hang on, to show you guys. So give me a second. Hang on. All right. Let me show you guys real quick. But, give me just a moment. So I was just grabbing this out so I can show those that are still in here kind of what I'm saying. Oh, it might be sleeping on me. So give me just a minute. Hang on. So, but I'll go ahead and show you. So this was this was one of my high school flags I had, but we had this when we were doing one of our like beginner performances. But so here, this is where it's black, so it's hard to see, but this part here, I'm gonna do this. So like here to here, this is taped to here, so that way the silk stays on and doesn't come off. And then also you would tape here too as well, so it also stays in place. But what's here too is so on the top and bottom you would have what's called the cap. So what you do is at first you'll have like little metal little rods inside of these that you put inside. They're a little bit weighted, so that way it gives you the same width when you do tricks on them, because it's gonna be a slight bit weighted but not too weighted. So that helps you get movement out of them easily. And so of course you gotta tape that too, and then you have and then here you've got what's called the top tape, which is here. Can't see it because it's black. And then down here what I'm putting my finger around is the bottom tape. So when you do tricks, some of them you're gonna land, mainly you're gonna land right there for a ton of them. But also this, occasionally if you were using this one though, like on its own, that would be if you're doing like one skill tricks mainly. Or also using this either here, center top tape or the base tape. I forgot what they called it, what we used to call it, the vocabulary of it. But I'm calling it the main tape because that's like the ending part of it goes. But and then also a trick we learned to see that y'all. This is for reference. This is a 6 foot pole, and this is me. So, for reference, if anyone's wanting to know, y'all, I'm 5'3". This is me next to the pole. I'm only, like I said, I'm 5'3". This pole is 6 foot. This is a 6 foot pole. In color guard, you're always gonna have a 6 foot pole. And that's how you can do tricks, and that's also how you can lay stunts on it, like moving like with the pole. It's pretty cool though. But yeah, and also if anyone's not familiar with color guard at all, look up color guard performances, and you can see what I'm saying. It's cool though. But give me a moment. But yeah, like some of these are really cool. Yeah, it's really cool though, because you get to learn a ton of different tricks on that. And then also another trick you have is what is called a rifle. So it's kind of like a gun, but not really. It's like a shape of a certain gun, but not really an actual gun. But it's just taped everywhere like wood. It's just wood, and you have like tape that secures it really well. But that's cool too. Then a savior is more of like a thinner, well, like a slight thin, but not too thin. I didn't really learn that part that much, because I think around that time I quitted. Like I wasn't in. And y'all, for everyone, for reference, when I was, like I said, for reference, I only did color guard for from April till December. So I really only did it till December 17th is when it was. And then after that, so literally afterwards, I quitted it because some parts of it got a little bit too difficult for me to handle. And also, and also, y'all, let me say this, I'll tell you this, another thing too is when football season is over, so after this month, my school would have a game left, and then we go into winter guard season. And so winter guard is the same thing as color guard, but just color guard in the winter. But what you would do is you would do a lot of the same skills as you would do, but indoors instead of doing a bunch of it outdoors. You would do a mix of both, but in the winter you would do it more indoors, and you would be performing indoors. So more at high school gymnasiums, dance places, stuff like that, on the field in the fall. But yeah, it was really cool though, because like I said, I did it for a few months. It was amazing, and that's also where the first peg I showed you guys too. as well. So, anyway though, I've already been talking with you guys for a little while, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. So, anyway, I will see you guys back here on Sunday sometime. So, I will see you guys then. So I'll see you guys then.